feel kind of numb, dead inside, going through the motions every day, just kind of surprised every time you hit a birthday year and my God, another year's gone by, and just kind of unmotivated. I get that. I've been like that for years at a time. Sometimes I get that way for a few days and then I get my mojo back. So today what I'm going to talk to you about is 8 different ways that you can get your passion for life back. What that really is called spiritual energy. And I know when some people hear the word spiritual, they think it's just a religion, and it can be if that's what you want it to be, but it's so much more than that. And I'm going to share those ways that are for you. So, oh, by the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Susan Nascimento, and I'm a corporate executive by day. I have 6-year-old twins. I've been married for almost 20 years. Top 1% masters in management leadership. So I know what it's like to do a lot of goals and kind of feel like you've lost yourself in the process. So I get it. And that's what I'm trying to share for you is little hacks and techniques that I've learned in order to get it back and feel more balanced. So this is part 2 of my last broadcast. So if you remember, let's see how the camera is here. If you remember, we talked about the wheel of balance, and there was 4 sources. So spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. And spiritual is the most valuable energy source that you can get. You should start there first with trying to figure out how to get there. So I asked you last time to kind of rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 with how you're feeling in each of these 4 energy sources. So if you're listening right now, and even if you're not listening live, just write down what your number is for your spiritual energy. And what that is like it can be religion, but it could also be about your passion. It's your purpose, your why to live. It's like leaving a legacy for someone, or, just making the world a better place. Unfortunately, most people put upping their spiritual energy in last place. But when you up your spiritual energy, which ups your passion for life, it has the ability to affect all of the other 3 sources the most. So that's why they recommend starting there first. Okay, so here are my 8. Number 1, so counteract your negative, what I do my got to do thinking by listing what you get to do. So I noticed that I wake up a lot, and the first thing I do is I have automatic negative thoughts, which they call kind of ants. So I'm like, crap, I've got like 5 meetings today. I've got to go to the dentist. I got to have that really hard talk with somebody that I don't want to do. It's like all these got to do's. So what I do in the morning in order to counteract it is, and when you're negative, that can lead to like sadness and depression. So I counteract it by listing all the things I get to do. Like I get to watch a new episode of Mr. Robot, or I get to have lunch with like 2 girlfriends that I haven't seen in a long time. Or I get to have, I get to read by myself on the train today. I love doing that. So when I start listing all those things, automatically I just kind of reframe it and I start my day off in a little bit better way. Okay, so just counteract those little automatic negative thoughts. The next one is number 2 is I listen to motivating or inspiring music. So this is another little technique that I do. So if I'm going to walk into a job interview or a presentation that I have to do where I really need to rock it, I have a playlist on my Amazon Prime music. I do the free one. I do a lot of things that are free. I've created a playlist. Like I've got on there, let's see, like Adventure of a Lifetime from Coldplay, Brave by Sarah Bareilles, Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys. So I will like literally put on my headphones in the bathroom stall and I will rock it out and I'll lip sync. So if you're ever near a stall, don't like peek under because I'm probably doing it. Or if I'm in my car, I'm really like jamming. And it's a way to like just motivate me and inspire me. And music does that for me. And I think it does it for a lot of people. Third is I schedule quiet, uninterrupted time to, oh, by the way, if you have like a favorite song, I want to know what it is. Cause I ask people at meetings, and one girl like told me her favorite theme song, like if she had to pick a theme song for herself, it would be Jump by Van Halen. And it wasn't something I expected, but then I was like into it for the day. So if you're listening right now, just write down what you're like, if you had a theme song for like what motivates you and gets you going, like write it down. See if I can add it to my playlist or anybody else. Okay, so the third thing I do to up my passion is I schedule quiet, uninterrupted time to review, reflect, and recommit. So what I do is every Friday I do this. This is like a ritual of mine. I take 1 hour. I review what I wanted to get done for the week. And I see, did I do it? Did I accomplish those goals or not? And if I did, yay, what helped me do that? And then if I didn't, well, what was the roadblock? And I don't like literally write this down. It's just a self-reflection in my head. I then kind of reflect on that. And then I think about and I reflect, well, okay, what are the future goals that I want to do next week? And then I commit myself to those. And I do that by literally scheduling the goals that I want to achieve. I try to think of 3 things that I want to do next week, and I put them in my calendar, because what gets scheduled for me gets done. Nobody else can take that time away from me. In addition, I do this quarterly every day with my life plan. That's a whole nother broadcast in itself of how I go about doing that. But that's how I go about it. I review, did I meet my 90-day goals every quarter? If not, I kind of reflect about that, and then I recommit to what do I want to do. And I literally am just taking these and trying to see how I can up them. And I have other categories I do, but that like just makes me passionate because I know I'm working towards what's important to me, and that ups my passion. 4, show appreciation for someone else. So I personally, I love to give gifts more than I like to get them. I'm not really sentimental about a lot of gifts, but I love picking out the right thing and seeing how somebody gets excited about it. I love kind of randomly buying someone's coffee or a stranger I didn't know and seeing how I just made their day and how they probably posted that on Facebook. Like, wow, some stranger just paid for something. I love just doing that kind of stuff. And I also feel great when someone appreciates me. So my love language is words of affirmation. I'm not like a physical gift person, and I don't know necessarily what everybody's love language is, but I'm sure that nobody would turn down like, you rocked it today, or thank you, and specifically what it was. So I find when I fill someone else's happiness bucket, my bucket gets filled. So I try to find a way to appreciate, compliment, or just celebrate someone. And if I can't think of anyone, then what I might do is I go on to Yelp or Google reviews, and I'll just write someone a 5-star, someone who deserves it. But I just go and share love for the day and happiness. And the way I think the world is right now, I'm trying to double down on love and show more of that. So that's what I do to help fill their bucket and mine with happiness and passion. Okay, number 5 that I like to do for filling up, getting myself passionate is serving others. Serving other people really helps you learn a lot more compassion and empathy for others, understanding. It also creates this sense of belonging and significance that we all really desire when the moment we're babies. We want to belong, we want significance, and if we don't, we act out just like babies. So I have found that you can serve, formally through whether it be a church or a cause that you believe in for yourself, or because it's affecting a family or friend. I've also found you can do it ways informally. So my husband was out of town internationally for a long time during the Christmas season once, and I had teenage boys that called me up. They were friends of a friend and said, "Can we take down your Christmas lights for you?" And I was like, okay, sure. And so they came and they were joyous doing it, which was weird. Teenage boys being joyous about having to spend their Saturday with me taking down my Christmas lights. And they put them away, and it was really, really cool. So, if there's somebody in need that needs you know, they've had a baby or they're going through an illness, you can bring them food or some things that way. There's lots of different ways that you can serve people, and that will help bring passion into your life because you'll feel more significant and like you belong. Number 6 is work in your passion or purpose. But I can hear you already saying, like, I don't know my passion or purpose. You know, it doesn't come very easy to some people, like knowing what you're meant to be and what to do. It's taken me years to figure out what I was meant to do. I really love to learn and to teach other people what I've learned. That helps me when I teach to sink it into my brain even more. Once you do know what it is, I would say try to work in that as much as you can to carve it in. Once you know like what your strengths are, try to find ways to work that into your job. I've done that before with strength finders, and rewrote parts of my job and presented it to my boss as how I would be more productive and serve the organization, and she went for it. The 7th item is to walk in nature. So about a year ago, I was invited to this mountain retreat with 10 people. And I was like psyched to go because I love personal development and being around people and getting to know myself. But I was like kind of freaked out because I thought, oh my God, we're going to be in the mountains and I won't have a cell phone connection. And I started to like have this digital, you know, withdrawal. And day 1, it was kind of hard. Day 2, it got easier. And we spent so much time in personal development that, you know, time just kind of escaped me. Day 3, though, we were asked in the morning, we went to breakfast, then we had a little bit of personal development conversations. Then we were asked to meditate for about 10 minutes. And at that moment, I've been meditating for like a year. So I was like, this is easy. I started crying like minute 3 because I started talking to my 7-year-old self I've had a lot of childhood issues, and I was having this conversation. And I remember like just a tear coming down my cheek because it was just, I was talking to her and she was answering back and we were having a conversation. And then we were told afterwards to go out quietly and go walk into the woods. And they would ring this bell when it was time to come back. So I walked into the woods. I found this like huge rock. I got on top of it and just perched myself. It was just calling to me. And I sat there and I sobbed. And it wasn't like sobs of sadness. It was sobs of like relief and acceptance and love. And so then I've been kind of reading now all of a sudden about how there's these things called earthing or forest bathing, where when you walk into nature, even just take off your shoes and walk on sand, walk on the dirt, walk on the grass, be one with the earth. That I don't know what it was about that, but that was just very transformational for me. I haven't gone back to the mountains, even though it's like literally a half-hour drive. But even if you go to a park where there's a lot of trees, that's better than just sitting in your little cubicle and feeling like you're alone and not one with the world. The last one, number 8, is... okay, here's the one that you would expect if I say spiritual energy. It's praying or talking with God. So if God is your thing, and it is for me, I've been a year and a half, I've been a Christian, like I can publicly say that. I literally I just talk with God now. Like it always seemed odd to me, but I just have conversations. It's like, hey, Dad, I'm having a rough day. And now that's like a normal thing for me. And I just get a minute here or two in the car or in the bathroom. I just have a conversation. And again, it makes me feel like I've got my passion and energy back. So those were the 8. I have 2 bonus ones for you. Like if you lead others, you can role model and influence their energy. And if I were to say that and not do that with my team, then I think I'd be a hypocrite. So the first thing is just communicate the vision in a mission in a clear and consistent and inspiring way. So most organizations I have found, their vision and mission is like paragraphs of words that nobody remembers. It literally should be one sentence. The TED Talks has the best mission I've ever seen. In fact, it says, spread ideas. That's it. That's our mission. Like you can remember that in an elevator. So if you do have one and it's a one sentence, you should be taking advantage of it and saying it regularly, frequently, and do it in a compelling way. How does it resonate with you? Or have somebody in your team tell a story about how that showed up. maybe in work, or how can we impact that in our work? Because when people are connected, the employees are connected, studies show, they're 70% more satisfied with their jobs. They're 56% more happy. And holy crap, I love this one, 100% more likely to stay with you. That's a flippin' 100% of like zero turnover. And so I've done that, and I find that it works. And then the second thing is double down on people's strengths and avoid their weaknesses. So when people are working in their strengths, they're passionate, they're in their flow, they love life. I do that by doing the strength finders with my team. Then we brainstorm about what is the one strength that they're not using the most. When I'm doing performance reviews, I take that into account, and I realize, wow, you're working in something that's probably your weakness. Like my husband and I are two polar opposites. Like he is great at relationship building and influencing. He can do sales all day. I'm good at strategic planning and executing. If we flipped our jobs, we'd both hate them. But we are good at what we do. And so we're in heaven. But if I told my husband, honey, you need to like come up with a 3-year plan on your business and do the marketing plan, and then you need to find a way to schedule it every day, he would die a slow death. And if he told me I had to go talk to clients and sell them on his business, I don't know. I don't know what I would do. Anyway, so you know what? So when people say they're doing, unfortunately, 30% of employees only say they're doing what they enjoy most at work, and they're 38% less focused and almost 50% less happy. So super, super sad. So I would just do that. So I'm going to end this by saying, if you're listening right now, just tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your spiritual energy score? In fact, I see Renee is online. So if Renee, you could just type on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you think your passion, purpose, and, a reason for why to get up? How high is it? 10 being the highest. And then also, if you're listening, of the 8 that I talked about, which one do you think that you would do to help up your score just by literally 1 point? So I'm just going to recap. You're going to counteract negative, got to do this today, negative thinking by listing, well, what do you get to do? Second, listening to motivating or inspiring music. Rock out in that bathroom stall, baby. Third, schedule quiet, uninterrupted time to review, reflect, and commit to what you want to get done. 4, show appreciation for someone else. Fill their happiness bucket. 5, serve others so you feel a sense of significance and belonging. 6, work in your passion or purpose if you know it. 7, go walk in nature. Go get forest bathing. I love that term. And then 8, start, if you have a God or, a higher power, just have little moments of conversation. Even, when you're meditating or driving, just a little, hey, how are you doing? Help me out today, if you don't mind. Throw me a lifeline. So if you're listening to this still and you know somebody who would appreciate this because they've lost their mojo, please share this with someone. Again, serve others. And my next broadcast will be about how to increase your focus. And I am going to tell you probably things that you wouldn't expect in how to increase your focus. So I'll see you then next time. Bye.